Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the U.S. President meet in a few minutes in Washington, D.C. Obama is set to ask for answers on the framework agreement for peace. Netanyahu will ask for clarifications on negotiations with Iran. Moscow takes effective control of the Crimean Peninsula as Ukraine and Western countries fear Putin will seek to expand his control in the country's east. And the highly anticipated murder trial of Oscar Pistorius, known as Blade Runner, opened today amid a media frenzy. Welcome back to the news today. This is the Daily Debate. Tensions are high, and not only in Ukraine. The deadline for approval of the U.S. framework agreement is getting closer, and if the Palestinians and the Israelis sides won't agree on a way to break the deadlock in the peace process, threats like sanctions and beginning of a third intifada are clouding the future of the region. Is there a way to move forward? Are both sides interested in reaching an agreement, and what are other options on the table? Joining me tonight is Arieh Eldad, former Israeli member of parliament and part of the Professors for a Safe Israel. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Bashar Iraqi, advisor to Israeli parliament member Isawi Fareed. Good evening. So maybe at the end of the day, none of the sides is really interested in reaching a framework agreement.
Is that a statement or a question?
Maybe. I'm asking a question. Maybe.
We're working against the odds, let's say. Well, everyone is betting that peace should not even happen in the Middle East. A lot of people are benefiting from it. And we definitely have different sides to each nation that is willing to have more of what is offered in this peace treatment. The only solution for everybody, including Jewish Israelis, Palestinians living in Israel, Palestinians in the West Bank, even refugees, is a peace agreement that would lead someday to even a better life and a better situation in the Middle East.
Arieh Eldad.
Words are quite cheap in this part of the world, and both sides say they want peace. But, by the way, words are not very expensive nowadays in the Crimean Peninsula.
They're not even expensive, I have to say, here in Israel.
Peace that was signed, or an agreement that was signed in '94 by Clinton and Yeltsin and Ukraine and England, that all sides guarantee the territorial integrity of the Ukraine. It was nothing. It's a piece of paper. All these agreements are good only when both sides or all sides really want to fulfill them. Once there's an interest to break them, nothing can guarantee a piece of paper. So the question is what both sides sees as peace. I see a peace when the land of Israel that belonged to me is under my control forever and ever, and my safety is guaranteed. And if there is a Palestinian state in Jordan at that same time, I'm quite pleased. But I'm not fighting for their sovereignty and their country and their state. It's my land, so on this condition we can make peace.
And what
Lucy.
Go ahead.
My answer to Mr. Eldad, well, I was about to respect you, but your cheap words are not allowing me to respect you. Israel answered him. The Jewish Israelis answered him with not letting you in the Knesset in your second time. And that's the best answer for a racist, a settler, and someone who only thinks about himself. A biblical right that you claim over Palestine, historical Palestine, the state of Israel that you want spread everywhere, is the only thing that will lead you and me. I'm not, I usually say dark ages, dark phases of life. No, it's going to lead us to hell. With people like you, who think like you, we will never not even reach peace. We will always have bloodshed as well. The claim that Jews have, let me finish. The claim that Jews have on Israel is not the only claim. I claim it as a Muslim, I can claim it as a Palestinian, Christians can claim it as well. If we go to history, the fact that Jews over here were over here. I recognize this fact, and they were here for 200, 250 years. I don't know for how long consumably altogether. But you were here.
Shall
The claim.
That's what you give the Jewish nation 200 years?
2,000.
That's the
3,000.
Arab or the Muslim lie.
4,000.
Try.
How many years do you want? 4,000 or 5,000? Is that fine with you?
Your
10,000?
great father,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
and our great father were here 4,000 years ago.
Fine with me.
So don't play with the Arab lie of 200 years,
I'm not blaming with our
100 years.
You're becoming a kid saying that my biblical right in 2014 is the year of high tech, and this is what Israel is leading.
High tech is what happened in the Ukraine. High tech, the only thing that really matters in this world
you're basically saying, Lucy, he's basically saying, let's kick all the Palestinians out, live in Jordan.
No, I didn't say so.
So this
That's
is what I want to
you
understand.
say.
Let's
That's what
try.
I say. Palestine is in Jordan.
Just a second.
No, I
Just a
didn't
second,
say to
Bashar.
You're a
kick
failure as a
any
politician,
single-
man.
Doctor.
I didn't say to kick out a single Arab, but your state nation should be in Jordan because
I'm Israeli,
That's
Habibi.
fine.
I'm Israeli, and Palestine exists in the West Bank.
Stay here in a Jewish state. That's fine.
I don't recognize a Jewish state.
Just a second. I will ask you if you recognize or don't recognize the Jewish state, because we are in a little bit, the Israeli Arabs, or the Arabs who are living in Israel, or the Arabs of the 1948. A lot of frames to say that. I'll be asking you this. When you are doing peace with the other side, when you want to reach an agreement, usually you have a dialogue, and in a dialogue you hear the other side and you try to
No, settlers don't have dialogue. Settlers say what they want. They do what they want. They build settlements.
To meet in the middle of the bridge. Here what you're saying is that there is no middle of the bridge. There is our side of the bridge, and this is the only side that there is, and you will come to this side.
There is a chance for peace in a territorial conflict, but we misdiagnose the disease. This is not a territorial conflict. This is an ideological clash, a religious war that lasts hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. That's why all the talks about peace and reaching some point or a line, a border on the map is a good solution for the wrong disease. This is not the conflict in the Middle East.
So you're saying basically that the conflict is
an ideological
religious.
clash.
Religious?
Religious, ideological. That's what Samuel Huntington wrote about.
No. I fight for humanity, man. I fight for human rights. The fact that ideological wars are happening and religious wars are happening because they're led by people like you. If I was in the Knesset, if more people were like me in the other side, the Jewish-Israeli side, people like you would not even have a chance to talk about politics. You will be practicing medicine where you were practicing before.
Words.
It's not empty hollow words.
Arabs massacred Jews in Israel 90 years ago, before the state of Israel was existing,
you are Mother
and
Teresa.
Before what you call the occupation.
You are Mother Teresa.
No,
This
it's
is
nonsense.
It's
a war.
You have no shame.
It's a war.
That's not going to be an argument.
You think
with someone like you cannot even just make peace, man. I can't even imagine living with you in the same neighborhood, for God's sake. I'd rather live. There's so many good Jews in Israel. There's so many good Jews, and there's so many bad Jews. There's so many good Palestinians, or there's so many bad Palestinians. You're a bad Jew. You're a bad Jew with beliefs and acts. You're someone who goes against peace with what you say. With what you say, you risk everybody's lives, even your kids.
A recognition. I am the owner of this land.
You're not the owner of anything.
Because we run here a democracy, you are allowed to speak whatever you want.
The same happens with you. You're saying bullshit.
That's true. I said the peace chances in the Middle East
Palestinian state in Jordan,
between Jews and Arabs are zero. Try to recognize it. Try to understand.
So are you saying we need to fight for the rest of our lives?
No, we can find a formula, but the ongoing forces that drives nations for generation and generation to war are not necessarily territorial. So the territorial solution of the two states that is
So
offered
the Mujahideen in Syria, the sick extremist Muslims who say we have to go and fight the Zionist Judaism in Israel are right. This is what you're saying.
Unfortunately, they really what matters in history. Haj Amin al-Husseini matters in history, not the Nashashibis in history.
You should hang out more in Tel Aviv.
The extremists.
Man, leave the settlement and hang out more in Tel Aviv. You have to meet more normal people.
After I, I want to ask you, you put something on the table and you said, you just dropped it and you said, I will never recognize the state of Israel.
I didn't say I will never. I said I don't recognize the Jewish state.
You don't recognize the Jewish state of Israel because
it's not comfortable for me, because it doesn't belong to me. It doesn't recognize me.
But this is
I
the
have
reality.
no problem.
Let's face it.
No,
As
it's all
Arabs
whole
were
words,
living in
as Mr.
Israel.
Eldad said.
This is the source of the conflict.
That it's not a Jewish state. I recognize your right as a Jew to live wherever you want, even in Israel.
Thank you very much. I don't need your permission to live in my homeland. But what you define is exactly the conflict. You then recognize the right of the Jewish nation.
You're crying for a toy that doesn't belong to you. You have your place.
Okay,
you live in peace. You have good economy. You have education. You have everything you need as a human. Let other people live.
Let me try to be Switzerland for a second. Let me try to be at Switzerland for a second and let's.
Oh, I wish so much.
I will try for the next 5 minutes to be Switzerland.
And so don't go to Switzerland.
I will go to Switzerland eventually. Gentlemen, let me try to be objective, okay, for a second. And let's try to look a little bit after and a little bit over this conflict. And I want to understand, you're blaming one another right here for the last 10 minutes. Just a second. One side is blaming the other for the last 10 minutes. And what I want to do is to try to make you look at yourselves and what the Israelis are doing wrong. How come the Israelis are not able to reach an agreement in the last 65 years? And how come the Palestinians are not able to actually get a stable country, recognition? What are the mistakes that the Palestinians are doing, and they are doing, and they are doing?
The major mistake of Israel is that we didn't annex Judea and Samaria immediately after the Six-Day War. And with that, and allowing the Palestinians to control Temple Mount in Jerusalem. With this, we left them with the hope that we are here exactly as the Crusaders were here 1,000 years ago, that we are not really attached to the land,
so
that we are ready to negotiate on our homeland.
What are you going to...
They will be citizens like Bashar or residents if they live in Judea and Samaria. Nobody
chosen to the parliament?
Yes, the Jordanian parliament in Amman.
The Jordanian parliament in Amman, not the Israeli one.
That's, by the way, that's UNSCOP, United Nations Special Committee on Palestine formula in May 47, that the Arabs in the Jewish state will be residents of the Jewish state and citizens of the Arab state. That's not my formula.
That's not true. Even the independence papers.
Did you read it?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
My dear gentlemen.
Not
Megillat HaAtzmaut.
Let's go to something more realistic.
United Nations paper.
Something more realistic.
No.
Megillat HaAtzmaut tells you that I'm an equal citizen. You're not going to treat anyone as an equal unless if he's a Jew.
No. You are
you're
an
saying
Israeli. No.
You're saying it.
If you are an Israeli citizen, you are entitled to all the rights. If you are a Palestinian who live in Nablus or in Ramallah, and this will have a Jordanian Palestinian citizenship. They will be Israeli residents, like 30 million green card holder in the States that they are not voting for the American Congress. That's a differentiation between citizenship and residency.
Let me put a point. And I don't want you to, I want you to look at yourself and tell me where are the Palestinians are doing mistakes.
Well, for the last few years, I think the Palestinians have overcame most of the mistakes they've been doing. I think we've been in more control. We don't see and witness the same clashes we witnessed before between Palestinians and in Israel. The fact that the Palestinians accept two-state solution, and they are willing to even live with people like Mr. Eldad right here, with the extreme thoughts that he have. With the fact that we are accepting two-state solution, I'm giving up historical Palestine. Refugees outside of Palestine are saying, they're not even saying, they're being forced to believe or have some of what they deserve, because Haifa and Jaffa used to be inhabited by Palestinians. You can say, no, they didn't. You can say that it belongs to me. But these are facts that belong 65 years ago, not 4,000 years ago. Now, the difference between me and him, that I recognize his right, that he can live here, because he is entitled by his biblical right. I am entitled by many things, including Quranic right.
Whom?
Now,
to whom they were belonged 65 years ago?
My happiness, Lucy, comes from the fact that there are extreme Palestinians just like him. And these are the ones I face daily. And I try to convince them that there is a chance for a good life where we live. But when I see you, man, I lose hopes.
Put a point. Gentlemen, I hope that I tried to bring you both
Not really.
to a positive note.
You knew there's no solution for 100 years or
I
so.
tried to bring you to a positive note, but I couldn't, unfortunately. Maybe next time, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming to the studio. We're going out for 2 minutes break, and then we will be back for the I-24 News one-on-one. Don't go anywhere. Another interesting figure.